that you starting off with, you could have just kind of like CC'd me on an email on, hey, by the way, I know Formula One's back, but Piastri's going to go ahead and win this weekend. I'd been like, gotcha. Which honestly, like, is the perfect segue because I kind of feel like that's exactly what it was. Like, I felt like,
This was a
okay,
pretty boring race by all
well,
accounts.
not only was it a boring race, but like Formula One themselves didn't really hype it up either. It was kind of like, hey, it is race week, but like, kind of do whatever it is that you're gonna do anyway. Like, it just felt like a very like, yes, Formula One was back, but it also just kind of felt like,
We had a
is
we had
it
a we had a kind of chunky break between the British Grand Prix to Belgium,
right?
and after the Hungaroring, which we're going to see this weekend, we have the official summer break. So it's like we got a mini summer break and an
So it's kind of
actual
like,
summer break's creeping up on us already.
yeah, but I say all that to say because like, TLP's let us know. Maybe we were just kind of like, in a slug or whatever. But it kind of felt like it was like, yeah, it is race week, but it's like there wasn't any hype to it for some reason.
There wasn't as
But
much news going around that weekend, right? There
that
wasn't
either,
as much
that either.
controversy. There
No.
wasn't like an interesting storyline, like the Max Verstappen stuff. It kind of fizzled. It just wasn't a terribly interesting buildup. But like, and then the race itself was kind of blah. Like we saw the rain in the forecast, and we're like, oh, clapping hands together.
This
This
is
is gonna
gonna
be a
make it
good one.
interesting.
This is gonna make things interesting. And
But
it
the
kind
problem
of
was is
didn't.
that well, the problem was the rain was so bad we couldn't race in the rain. It was like, hey,
Mhm.
the rain's so bad, we're just gonna have to wait. And
Yeah.
the race got
Which
pushed back
up
by
and
like
down
an
the
hour
paddock, you
and a
get different
half.
reactions as to who
Right.
liked the rain, who didn't like the delay, who cared, who didn't. Like Max thought they should have been racing
So
30 minutes earlier. Liam Lawson, big fan of the delay. He had a pretty solid race day, so for him, not a big deal. But like I was out of town for this race weekend, so we didn't have an official reaction posted. I know Kevin was kind of tied up as well, but we did watch everything from this race weekend. Let's start off with the sprint race. Max's sprint win, getting the Lauren Mecky's era underway with an absolute W. That's pretty huge. Strong pass over Oscar Piastri to take the feature race, and that was kind of the big highlight there. There wasn't anything super massive.
yeah.
Qualifying for the sprint, lackluster for both Ferrari and Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli, getting washed out, so to speak, washed out wide towards the end of his lap. Lewis Hamilton just couldn't quite put things together either. Both those guys struggled towards the end of SQ1, had a really poor qualifying as well. But yeah, sprint race, more or less kind of uneventful besides the lap one pass, right? Which, as the McLaren resident fan here, a little unfortunate to watch your boy get passed and neither of your guys win for the first time in a
Look,
little while.
I kind of felt like going into the weekend that it was really Piastri's to lose. Going into the break, it was all talks were all Lando. It was Piastri getting screwed over here and there. Piastri's pissed off about this, but Lando was there to take the win. And so I kind of had a feeling I was like, there's no way that Piastri's going to lose. He's
Mhm.
too fired up. He's too pissed. He's too like, I've been wronged way too many times. I'm just going to go guns blazing and I'm going to go win this weekend, whatever it takes.
Which
And I
was
think
like
that's
my big takeaway walking out of the British Grand Prix was that the next 2 weekends were going to be Piastri's, balls to the wall. He's gonna bring it.
exactly. And that's
Surprising he
exactly
didn't
what
get
he
the
did.
sprint win, but he's still rounded at the podium, if I'm not mistaken. And the McLaren still, they still performed pretty well. But then the feature,
McLaren grabbed 2-3 in the sprint. Yeah.
yeah. So then the feature race happens though, and Oscar Piastri righted those wrongs and did it on your boy.
Yeah.
Lando
Yeah.
Norris had a
And
hell
look,
of a lap. Great qualifying lap for him. Another disappointment if you're Ferrari or Mercedes for Antonelli and Hamilton again, who just struggled to put things together. But for all intents and purposes, Lando Norris was proven the doubters wrong, right? With that good qualifying lap. And then race day
that was
happens.
I would say that's the only thing that kind of made me like think like, oh, maybe Lando will give this a try. Because like I said, like going into it, is like this is going to be Piastri's to lose. It's going to be
Mhm.
Oscar's weekend, and then Lando grabs pole, and I'm like, I mean,
And
okay, maybe.
he had a lot of things in his favor. Like it's not like they had
Right.
to jump off the line. They started behind the safety car. He got a rolling start. And to lose P1 in that fashion, I don't know, man. It feels like it's an encapsulation of Lando's season where it's almost like he's found ways to lose out on some of these opportunities at times. And like a historic marker for him was losing pole position on turn 1, right? Like that was the meme that followed him for a long time before he started having some success last year into this year. And it's not to say that Lando, of course, isn't fantastic and talented, but he had everything in his corner, and losing it within the first 5 turns at Spa, I don't know. It feels very lackluster. This feels like one to forget, even though he got a second place, right?
It was almost kind of like Lando tuned into the lap podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is Oscar's weekend." So he just kind of like, "Here, Oscar, here you go."
Yeah.
So
I mean, Lando's, again, held on to P2. Then Charles Leclerc did everything he could to hold off Max, secured his 5th podium of the season in the feature race format. Verstappen held on to P4. Russell back there in P5. Sketchy weekend for Mercedes. That was about as much as I think they could really muster. Alex Albon held off Lewis Hamilton. Hell of a drive by Alex Albon, by the way, one of your boys in the Williams. Lewis with an absolute charge, by the way, though. With an absolute charge, by the way, Lewis had a hell of a drive, to give him a lot of credit, going from the pit lane all the way to P7 on track with a very ballsy call at the time to go to the slicks. And then it just, everybody down the grid around the order saw what Lewis was doing on those slicks, how he was able to handle things very quickly, and he was able to just rise on up the ranks.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Before we get to Rachel Race, from now until launch day, how much better of a driver do you think Lewis Hamilton will be once he comes back and Grand Theft Auto is released?
What? What kind of
You
question
didn't see
is that?
You didn't see this?
I have no idea
This
what you're talking about.
This skipped your Formula One Twitter timeline.
It did.
Okay, Lewis Hamilton said that he would miss work. His words, he would miss work to play Grand Theft Auto when the new one comes out because of how much he loves it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, here's the play. If you're Ferrari, or if you're a Ferrari fan,
because
you wait this thing out. You're not waiting for new regulations. This is not what This is not what this is about. We're waiting for Grand Theft Auto. Okay, we're waiting for GTA. So here's what we're doing. Okay, we're gonna ride this thing along as far as we can. We're gonna wait for GTA's release. Maybe get him the early cover. I mean, hell, he is Lewis Hamilton. Okay, so let's get him the early game.
I'm sure he knows.
Let's give him a week off. Let's give him a week or two. Let's give him some time off. We'll call it an injury. And then he's going to come back fresher than ever. Boom. World champion once again.
Here's my question, though, is do you think Lewis Hamilton actually plays video games? Like, with how busy this man is, you think that this guy sits down and is like, you know what? Today I'm feeling like Trevor. Today I'm feeling like Michael. Today I'm feeling like Franklin. Like, you think he sits down and just, do you think he's an online player? You think he hops into the online like lobby and just ruins kids' days?
It seems like all these guys are. So to be honest, why would
all the other guys will play like racing games, right? Like all the other guys will do like iRacing. Like you'll see Kimi Antonelli, you'll see Max Verstappen, you'll see Lando, Charles. Like you'll see them all doing the iRacing thing in their downtime. But because I know that Lewis isn't a big gamer, at least not in the racing realm.
He's not also a big track. He's also not a big car guy either,
which is kind of surprising, right? But I just can't imagine Lewis Hamilton sitting behind the sticks for more than 5 hours for one time, just to be like, oh, I played it. It was fun. I walked around. I caused some chaos. I broke some laws, but I just don't imagine Lewis Hamilton as a gamer.
Look,
I just can't
I'm just reporting the facts here. Okay.
All right.
So,
well, he did. But look,
I'll try to see if I can find the quote.
But here, smooth transition. He did game the hell out of the switch from the intermediates to slicks. So great timing for him. I don't know if Ferrari are going to give him time off to play GTA 6 like the rest of the world was hoping. No, I'm sorry. It's just that dude's so locked into winning.
You don't think Fred Vasseur is going to be like, look, okay.
I think that kind of thing, with all due respect to Lewis, is like, oh, I can reach the gaming community if I reference a video game. You know what I mean? I kind of I feel like
Oh, you think this is a media play?
I think it's a little bit of PR. I think it might be a little
Look,
bit of PR marketing. What if he's in it?
look,
He was
F1
in
driver
he
Lewis
was in Call of
Hamilton.
Duty. I know he dabbles.
I'm
I know
dying
he
for the new
dabbles.
Grand Theft Auto to come out. I will cancel work.
Work for him is probably like work for him. I feel like it's
Like
probably like
promo
some kind of
shoots.
media obligation or a photo
Yeah.
shoot or a guest appearance or something like that. That dude loves getting behind the wheel. But all right, we
Okay,
got to
let's
bring
go ahead
this
and
thing
rate
back.
this race.
We got to bring this thing back in. Blah blah. Down the order though. I wanted to highlight a couple more people. By the way, no DNFs this race.
But
Kind of
yeah,
surprising.
very interesng.
There were
Yeah,
no
kind
DNFs
of
this
surprising.
race. Isaac Hadjar had a really irregular race day. He finished in dead last, a lap down from everybody else. Ollie Behrman just missed the points. Antonelli with a rough weekend. You know, pit lane to P16 is it's not desirable, but it's not nothing. Franco Colapinto didn't crash, right? So that's something. And then Aston Martin had an absolutely abysmal weekend. They had their worst
Yeah.
qualifying performance ever. So
I would
rating
say
this race,
yeah.
I give it like a 4 out of 10, fam. It wasn't as exciting as I
Yeah.
think I wanted it
I
to be.
mean, really, what's the
We
difference
had a
in
90-minute weather delay. The fun fact trivia from this is that we had 3 people on the podium with the same amount of wins. Lando's got 8 wins.
that
Oscar's
is
got
true.
8 wins. Charles has 8 wins. And then the guy waving the checkered flag, Jackie Ix, a legend of the game, also an 8-time Grand Prix winner back in the day.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, I didn't know that. So okay.
Yeah. So that's the
Well, I
fun
mean,
fact from the weekend.
with
But
that, I've got to give it a 4.1. I mean, what are we doing? Can't
yeah,
disrespect the game.
pretty forgettable weekend, though. Let us know your comments down below. Could this have been an email? Yeah, just let us know in the comments, TLPs. Look,
I don't
moving
think
on to
I think the drivers forgot that it was race weekend, to be honest with you.